How could you, how could you not love a Tirana? They are just an awesome looking car. We got over here. How cool is this? Now these are very rare these days, these HSV coupes.
The steering wheel's got all this wear mark right here, and there's no nothing later. That's that 60,000 at the wear mark on that steering wheel.
$5,000, so it's one of the rarer ones too.
So you spend a bit of money on that. Yeah. Redesigned tail shaft. All built. Shift kit.
Love the seats. So I think we know where all the other HSVs are. They're still at Joe's Diner. Look at this. Beautiful looking EH.
Just down here. Next Sunday.
Yeah, well, you can go down. Go down next driveway down.
Yeah, there's a boat shop there.
Leave it up, mate.
Cool dash.
Well, you won't come and help me. Don't touch it, it might come off. What's wrong with that? I put a fuse in here. The other one's the same. It's still white, so otherwise
Look at the length of this thing. There were big cars back then. There's an Imposter. Ford at a GM day. Little twin aerials they did back in the day. That was a 60s thing, I think. Could be wrong, 50s, 60s. I love this car. 63, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Water baby.
So he's moved a few cars around since last time I was here. Get a better look at the E-Type. And a better look at the Corvette. This was tucked away at the back. How cool are these badges back in the day? It's like a dish, and then you've got the writing in the plastic cover. Doesn't look like it would have been too quick to make that back in the day. They moved the Cadillac. Now I can get it all in the shot. All 40 foot of it.
So Tony's there.
Hey, gorgeous, mate. I'm on an import ground about a year ago. Amazon driver was backing towards her, I beat her and she accelerated into it, so hit the quarter panel and it's never right, so I thought, fuck it, it's just a car, I'll just put the dogs in it.
Very 80s, 90s-esque.
Oh yeah, yeah, cool. With them, yeah. Nice. Yeah, never ending that. Yeah.
It's a big place.
I'm going to remove the dumps because the drone and the annoyance.
But when one of the black got on one
Still holding, look at that.
it just goes in the like one side of the ground and the other.
System.
Brings a push to a Holden meet. Look at this beauty. My old man had one of these and I wanted to buy it off of him, but unfortunately I didn't have the money because I was still in school at the time, I think it was. But still, always like these Maranello Red Group 3 VHSS without the spoiler on the back. Very nice. Well, what a day. Going to breakfast at Joe's this morning, then down to Garage 25 to have a look at the GMH day or morning show that they had there. So there's some cool cars there on display, some rare Holdens as well. So there's a Coupe 4 there, which was red, Sting Red it's called. They're a very rare car at the moment. So there's plenty of, I wouldn't say plenty, but there's still Monaros getting around, like VZ, VT Monaros, that shape's still getting around here and there. But in the HSV range of coupes, you just don't see them. So especially a Coupe 4 as well, which was an all-wheel drive deal they did, kind of like the Adventure and the Crewman. The Crewman and the Adventurer. So the Crewman was a dual cab ute that Holden did, and they were all-wheel drive. Now, if you're a mechanic that's worked on them, you'll know they're a bit of a pain in the butt. And the Adventurers were the same. The Adventurer was a wagon version of what the ute was with all-wheel drive, and they'd done some cool models of them in the VZs. And I actually liked them, but wouldn't like to work on one, but still like to have one. I think they were a good thing, and Holden in that period, I reckon they start to get some real motorsport heritage and some cool designs in that VZ sort of era. And they had some cool concepts, as well as the Tirana as well, like when they started to get into the VE range of Commodores and stuff like that. They had some very cool concept cars, but in the VZ or VYVZ range, they had a Utester, which was a concept car, which was yellow, and it had like a Targa style roof. The hard cover on the back was split and actually opened up like that, instead of it opening from the bottom of the rear windscreen up like that. They actually split like that. I've got a model of it as well. They also done a Sandman, the Mambo Sandman, and I remember going to the motor show back in the day, and I've got actual pictures, proper paper pictures of them, and they were just doing some very, very cool things back then. Like, everyone's got their own opinion on this, but I think there is no question in my mind the best car that Holden ever made, even though it's a prototype, was the Effigy. And they even took it to America and won an award for it as well. So, but the Effigy to me was the best car that Holden ever done. That thing was just unreal. You could just stare at that for ages and ages. And I have a model of that too. So they done that, and then when they got into the VE, well, sorry, let's stick to the VZ for a second here. So back on the Monaros, they done a lot of concepts on them as well. They done a HRT 427, which Mark Scaife had a bit of involvement in, and they were actually going to produce them, but for whatever reason they never did, and they must have thought it was going to be too expensive. I can't remember the deal with that, and once again I probably should have done my research on that again and refresh my memory before talking about it. But they were just unreal, those things. And they done so that was red, the HRT 427, and then they done another one that was I think they called it orange. It was more like a bronzish kind of orangey metallic color, and that was cool. I'll try and dig out a photo and put it on here for you to see while I'm talking about it. So they were cool cars. The Tirana concept they did as well, which was kind of like a VE Commodore liftback, sort of scaled down a little. It was a little bit smaller than what the VE Commodore actually was. They did that. They done another, I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was a VZ SS style liftback as well. But anyway, so they done some cool things, and then when they got into the VEs, they done a couple of concept cars in the VEs, and then they kind of lost their way. The best of the modern or the modern Commodores, I think, was the VF, because the last from the ZB, as we all know, was a German car. Kind of, it's debatable. It's kind of how they originated anyway. They all originated loosely from the Opel Amigas and stuff like that back in the day. I've had a big day, so I went to Joe's in the morning, had a bit of a quick walk around. It was quick as I could, really. There's some new cars there that I haven't seen. They were pretty cool. And then just as I was leaving, unfortunately, there was a couple of really cool cars that turned up that were a patina finish. And I would have liked to have got them on footage, but I was already in the car driving out the driveway. So it is what it is. And then I headed down to Garage 25 to check out the GM show down there. So when I got there weren't that many cars there. And as you would have seen, there were some HSVs and stuff at Joe's. So I would say they went to Joe's for breakfast and then eventually made their way down there, because some of them were down there when I went through the museum, had a look around. Ended up seeing Tony Longhurst there. He was getting the old Ferrari out, and he was in a bit of a rush, so I didn't want to hold him up, but I hassled him for a picture, which was cool. And he even asked, he said, "Did you want to get a picture in front of one of the cars?" And I said, "Well, my favourite car in here is the Corvette." I said, "Is it a 66 or 67?" And he said, "It's a 66. So I thought it might have been a 67, but turns out it's a 66. So you might think my favourite car in there probably would be one of the others, but if I had to choose, I would take that Corvette Stingray. Love them, always have done. So yeah, we managed to get a photo next to that. Didn't get much of the car in there, but it is what it is, and I would like to have had a chat with him, but he was on a bit of a mission and I didn't want to hold him up and annoy him. So that was pretty cool to see Tony Longhurst. I don't reckon I've seen him since, I would have to say, probably Lakeside in the late 90s, one of the last races that they had there. Probably seen him around at QR, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So yeah, that was cool. And after that, I went for a surf. The surf's gotten a bit smaller than what it has been through the week. So today's Sunday, and I took my custom 6.9 twin fin out, which is actually a 2+1, but I ride it as a twin fin. And it's been probably over a year and a half, it's probably closer to 2 years since I've ridden that board. I was fully intending on taking the GoPro out in the surf and filming some of that, but I didn't have the right mount. I've got a mount stuck to the surfboard, but the sliding clip that attaches to the GoPro, it's the wrong fitting for what I've got stuck on the surfboard. And I forgot to take my box of mounts and clips and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not going to try and hang on to the camera and paddle out with it in my hand. That's just going to look pretty unco. So I just decided not to take it out. I've been out for a whole year and a bit with my back, and it's just starting to get better now, to the point where I've been able to surf, which has been a big stress reliever for me, because if you do like to get out in the ocean or go to the beach or anything, you'll know how refreshing and relieving it is to get out there. So with all the stresses that you got going on in life, it is great to have a place. If it's the beach for you, it is for me. Then yeah, get out there and just chill out and not think about anything else if you can. But yeah, so it was good to get out to the car shows. Tony and his guys in Garage 25, they moved a few cars around from last time I was there, so that was pretty cool. And they got the yellow 58 Corvette out, so it was buried back near Marcus Ambrose ex NASCAR, and yeah, they had it up the front next to the E-Type Jag. That was pretty cool. They had the bonnet unlatched on the E-Type, and I was almost tempted to ask Tony if it's a 6 or a 12, but like I said, I didn't want to hassle him, so I didn't bother asking. But it'd be nice to have a look under the engine bay in that. But it is what it is. So yeah, I got some footage of them. I got some shorts that I took on a couple of the cars and put them up on the site that you guys can see. Bit of a tiring day. Got up early. I literally got up at 5 o'clock and threw the board in the car and went to Joe's. Got footage of Joe's, got some breakfast, then went to Garage 25 at the boatyard. Got some footage there. Spoke to a few guys about their cars as well. Spoke to the guy that had the Statesman DeVille, which was a HJ or a HX, I think it was. And the green one, yeah, it had an LS2, I think he said it was in it, with a turbo, just a small 68mm turbo, I think it was. yeah, something to keep, you know, a bit of low down, bottom end and mid range in it, because they're pretty heavy cars. And yeah, so had a bit of a chat with him. Had a chat with the guy who owned the Coupe 4, the Sting Red Coupe 4. That was interesting. Turns out he has a friend that has one of these yellow thing, the VS GTSR. He said it's got 4,000 kilometers on it. So who knows what that's worth. But I remember when they were new back in 1996, 97, and I think they were about $74,000. And the guy with the Coupe 4 said he was going to buy one of those Coupe 4s when they were new. And he said, what was it, 86,000 or something like that, it was new. And the guy who actually bought that car, brand new, ended up getting it for 76,000, I think he said. And then he later bought it off the original owner. So he's the second owner of that Coupe 4. And I probably should have filmed it a bit closer or asked him to have a look inside, because it still looked brand new. So that was pretty good to see one of them out. So a very rare car. But just quickly before I go, one car that I never get sick of seeing, and I don't see many of them. Well, as you know, I love the R32 GTRs, and there's a fair few of them getting around. But you don't see too many genuine blue Meanie VK Brock SSs, the Formula Blue VKs. I love those cars. And another car, I've never really been a big fan of the VL shape, and I've never been much of a fan really of the Walkinshaw, but I do like them. If I had the money, I would own one. But the permanent red Brock VLSS, I love that colour. Something about it, just a basic dark red, no metallic, no nothing in it. It's just something about them. I just think they are just a good looking car and a cool car, just sort of basic, you know, not overdone. Whereas I think the VL Walkinshaw is a little overdone, but I do like the front bar, how they done them. But the rear spoiler, the whole deck lid spoiler, even though it was put in a wind tunnel to come up with them, and yeah, that's what they come up with. But it's just, I've always thought, like many people have always thought, it's a bit too much, it's a bit overdone. But like I said, if I had the money, I would still have one. Now, the permanent red Brock VLSS, have one of them any day. Love those cars. Another car I grew up with, and I even said it in the video, because my old man had one, it was actually a Group 2 that he had. It wasn't a Group 3. So there was, I think it was a replica. There was a VHSS, a Maranello red VHSS. The one at Joe's Diner, I'm pretty sure that was a replica, because it didn't have the interior that it should have in it with the claret. But the one that turned up later at Garage 25 that I got some footage of, that looks like a genuine Group 3 VHSS. Now, I've always loved them as well. And if I had a choice, because I'm such a big fan of the VH, if I had a choice between that and the Blue Meanie, I'd probably take the Maranello red VH. So I've got a bit of footage on that. The interior is a bit worn. It looked like it was a genuine thing. Even had the Irmsches on it as well. But no spoiler, which was interesting. I've always seen them with spoilers on them. So that was interesting that it didn't have one. I'm not sure what the reason behind that is, but I didn't get the chance to talk to the guy. So As far as I know, most of them were 253s. The one the old man had was a 253 and also had 14-inch wheels on it, the 14-inch mesh wheels. Didn't have the Hampshire wheels on it. I'm pretty sure it was a Group 2 that he had. So it was a 253, 4-speed M21 manual, I'm pretty sure it was. Salisbury diff, I think they had in them as well. So that's pushing the memory. Again, I probably should have looked that up, double checked before talking about it. But if you want to correct me or add a bit more information in the comments, feel free to do so. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. That red VK was cool as well, but I would have a Maranello red VHSS any day. And could have had one if I had the money, but the trouble is the old man had that when I was in high school, I think, and I had no money. So I don't know how I was going to pay for it. And back then, I'm not sure how much he sold it for. It must have been, I don't reckon it was much. It must have been around maybe $10,000 to $12,000. It was pretty cool to see a lot of those HSVs out, and some very genuine, rare, inexpensive cars. So, but anyway, that's enough for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Made it just as basic as I could because I was in a bit of a rush to get down and want to go surfing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Cheers.